Layoffs in the US are now rising for the fourth consecutive year. That's right. According to the labor data, more than 21 million layoffs they were recorded in 2025, making it one of the highest layoff period since the pandemic year. Every single day, by the way, tens of thousands of Americans they wake up unemployed and they go home uncertain about their future. One recent example shocked many people across the country. Tire giant Goodyear announced plans to shut down a major factory in North Carolina. Well, potentially eliminating over 1,700 jobs. But for the local community, such closures, they are devastating because factories are often economic lifelines supporting restaurants, right? Supporting shops, housing market, entire local economies. Here, experts say that today's layoffs are being driven by multiple pressure all at once. Well, slowing demand, inflation, tariff-related costs, automation, global competition, technological disruption, they are all colliding together. And at the very same time, America's worker support system, they are no longer keeping pace with the speed of economic change. Do you remember years ago, the US had a special worker assistance program called the Trade Adjustment Assistance, which kind of helped workers retain, relocate, or build career after layoff. But today, many experts believe that America's current ecosystem, it's outdated, it's insufficient for the modern economy. And now, artificial intelligence, that is making the whole situation even more complicated because companies are no longer simply reducing cost. Interestingly, they are redesigning entire businesses, and that too around AI and automation. A major new study based on the US Census Bureau data, it is changing the entire conversation around immigrant labor in America. Well, for years, immigration debate in the US, it often focused on wage-based work, border crossing and blue-collar jobs. But the new data, it shows immigrants are now deeply integrated into nearly every major sector of the US economy. And specifically here we are talking about Indians. According to the study, educational and healthcare services have become the single largest employer of immigrant workers in the US. More than 5.5 million first-generation immigrants, they now work in healthcare and education alone. These are not just entry-level workers. They include nurses, surgeons, emergency room doctors, professors, teachers, home healthcare aides and specialists across multiple medical and academic field. Here experts say that America's healthcare system is already facing a major staffing crisis, right? Nursing shortages are growing. Demand for caregivers, it is exploding due to the America's aging population. Teacher shortage, it continues across multiple states. And immigrant workers, they are increasingly filling those particular jobs because the domestic labor pipeline, that simply cannot keep up. Here, the report also reveals something that many people rarely discuss publicly. Well, immigrants are heavily present inside America's professional and financial sectors as well. Millions work in management, consulting, finance, corporate strategy, accounting, legal service, in fact, high-level business operations. Even America's technology ecosystem depends massively on foreign-born workers. Nearly 3 million immigrants, yes, they now work in science, engineering, software development, and technology-related occupation. Perhaps the most surprising finding involved public administration. That's right. Hundreds of thousands of immigrants, they are directly employed within the US government system and agencies themselves. And this creates an unusual contradiction. You know why? At a time when immigration enforcement remains politically sensitive, immigrant workers are simultaneously helping operate the very system enforcing those policies. In fact, the study also showed that immigrants now make up nearly 1 in 5 workers in America's labor force. In fact, in major regions, specifically in the West and Northeast, immigrant participation, it is even higher. Experts warn that without any immigrant labor, multiple American industries could face serious economic disruption.